He was a star athlete at one of America's elite universities who is now generating national outrage after receiving just a 6-month sentence for sexually assaulting a young woman. Her wrenching statement in open court went viral, and tonight we have uncovered new pictures and new texts that show the defendant in a harsh new light. Here's ABC's Matt Gutman with an ABC News exclusive.
The public outcry still soaring tonight over a 6-month sentence slapped on former Stanford University freshman Brock Turner for sexually assaulting a 22-year-old woman while she lay unconscious next to a dumpster outside this frat house last year.
The judge is basically saying, it doesn't matter what your past actions were, just don't do it again.
I don't think 6 months was nearly enough.
We were absolutely outraged.
The victim was disappointed. I was disappointed. I know my office was completely disappointed in that sentence.
Known as Emily Doe, the victim's identity has been concealed, but we've come to know her through her words.
See if she can speak an entire sentence.
To give her a voice, we've asked women who say they've survived sexual assault and rape to read the impact letter that Emily Doe wrote to her assailant.
Peeling off and discarding my underwear like a candy wrapper to insert your finger into my body is where you went wrong.
It's gone viral with nearly 12 million clicks since it was posted on BuzzFeed, her first-person account of her ordeal, raw and unfiltered. In his letter to the same judge at sentencing, her 20-year-old assailant told the judge, "Coming from a small town in Ohio, I never really experienced celebrating or partying that involved alcohol." Documents also say that Turner denied ever using any illicit substance. Prosecutors didn't buy his clean living story. Documents and pictures obtained by ABC News show a very different portrait of the former Olympic hopeful, alleging that he was engaging in excessive drinking and using drugs, according to prosecutors who combed through his phone. Here, Turner is seen with what appears to be a hash pipe before college, say prosecutors, who collated dozens of text messages in which they say he talks about buying or using drugs, including harder drugs. Want to see if we can get acid? The documents also show that Turner was, according to prosecutors, similarly aggressive with another female at a different fraternity party at the same location. Weighing all of this was Judge Aaron Persky, a Stanford alum and former lacrosse captain at the school, who handed down a 6-month sentence. Turner is currently slated to be released from jail after only 3 months for good behavior.
What was this judge thinking? I don't know what he's thinking, but I know what we can do about it. We can try to get him off the bench.
There are now 2 petitions circulating to recall Persky. A Change.org petition has garnered more than 500,000 signatures, and a White House petition posted just this morning has already surpassed 27,000 signatures. Stephanie Pham, co-founder of Association of Students for Sexual Assault Prevention, also authored a letter signed by over 250 Stanford students to the judge asking for a tough sentence.
We didn't know if the letter would help or not, but the main thing is that we want to take action in any way, shape, or form possible to help the situation.
Stanford law professor Michelle Dauber has started a campaign calling for Judge Persky to be removed from the court.
He is an elected, not appointed judge, and he needs to be responsive to community values. And he has to both understand where the community is with respect to sexual assault and the need to protect our daughters while they're in college.
Sir.
Persky is not only being threatened with votes, but allegedly with violence. Gary Goodman, a public defender with the Santa Clara County Public Defender's Office, says Persky and his family have received threats over the phone.
Can you just give me a sense of what is being said in these calls?
They're threatening, they use a lot of profanity, they hope that he dies, they hope that his kids get raped, things of that nature.
In this case, 6 months in jail plus sex offender status and 3 years probation. Do you think that that was a fair judgment?
Absolutely in line. Absolutely in line.
That sexual assault happened on a January night in 2015.
It was pretty hard to see at first. I was quite in shock for quite a long time with me and Peter. Still hard to think about.
Graduate students Carl Frederick Arndt and Peter Johnson were riding their bikes and stopped when they saw 2 people on the ground near a dumpster.
What makes you suspicious of whatever's going on there?
The activity, and she wasn't moving.
It was clear she wasn't moving.
Yeah.
And the man on top of her was?
Yeah. Or my friend said, what are you doing? But he later said I didn't do anything, etc. when he was lying down on the ground, for example. and it tried to seem like nothing happened, essentially.
From the letter she read in court, Emily Doe recounts, "My breast had been groped, fingers had been jabbed inside me, along with pine needles and debris. My bare skin and head had been rubbing against the ground behind a dumpster." According to Arndt, when Turner made a run for it, he and Johnson ran after him, pinning him to the ground.
Then I was over there, helped him to restrain him until the police came.
When you saw her lying there on the ground, was it pretty obvious what had happened?
Yeah. I mean, she was half naked, so yeah.
Arndt and Johnson haven't seen Emily Doe since that night, but it's clear from her letter that she thinks about them every day. She writes, "I sleep with 2 bicycles that I drew taped above my bed to remind myself that there are heroes in this story." Before sentencing, Brock's father complained that the verdict was a steep price to pay for 20 minutes of action.
Dad said, it's 20 minutes for a lifetime of sentence. And I'm like, what do you think the woman had to deal with?
He's now claiming his words were misinterpreted. But any association with Brock Turner has become radioactive. In a letter to the judge, Turner's friend, Leslie Rasmussen, the drummer for the band Good English, lamented that the assault may have been a big misunderstanding. The backlash was neck-snapping. Within days, her band's next 4 shows were canceled. In a post to Facebook, she wrote, "I did not acknowledge strongly enough the severity of Brock's crime and the suffering and pain that his victim endured, and for that lack of acknowledgement, I am deeply sorry." Though the victim's ordeal has launched much dismay, Emily Doe has chosen to remain silent and anonymous. But in response to the outcry this week, she did send a text message to the prosecutor to read.
"I don't need labels, categories to prove I'm worthy of respect, to prove that I should be listened to. I'm coming to you simply as a woman wanting to be heard. Yes, there's plenty more I'd like to tell you about me. For now, I'm every woman."
For Nightline, I'm Matt Gutman in Palo Alto, California.